Let's move on to our next spot. Browns, Bengals, Battle of Ohio. Let's go. Browns, Bengals. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Cleveland opens up as minus 3.5 point favorites. That's gone. If you want them at 3.5 right now, you're going to get plus money attached to it. The threes have hit the board for the Browns on the road. This total opened up at 51.5. It is now hit 50.5. Chris, my guy Chris, thank you for the kind words. And let's go. Browns, Bengals. Cleveland's longest winning streak since 1994 came to a crashing halt. They're 4-2, 1-2 on the road, going up against the Bengals 1-4 and 1-1 at home. The Browns were pummeled 38-7 at Pittsburgh, losing their 17th straight game at Heinz Field. Bebsy had the Steelers' first half in full game, and Big Ragu made the Steelers' full game his best bet on our Sunday show. Cleveland managed just 75 yards on the ground, 113 below its season average. Mayfield, 10 of 18 for 119 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks, and then he has to leave the game late to protect his tender ribs. 4 interceptions he threw over a 4-quarter span. Cleveland was held to 1 of 12 on third downs, 0 for 3 on fourth downs. Myles Garrett did get his AFC leading 7th sack of the season. Safeties Carl Joseph and Ronnie Harrison Jr., linebacker Jacob Phillips, guard Wyatt Taylor are all questionable. Bengals blew a 21-0 second quarter lead, ended up losing 31-27 to the Colts. Bengals were driving towards the winning score before Burrow was picked off at the Colts 22 with 46 seconds left. He ended up 25 of 39 for 313 yards and a pick. T. Higgins is emerging as a dangerous weapon. 6 catches for 127 yards against the Colts. A.J. Green had his first game where he was relevant in 2 years. 8 passes he caught for 96 yards, and all except 1 went for first downs. Joe Mixon left the game with a right foot injury in the second quarter. He did come back. He seemed to be okay. He's questionable, but he seemed to be fine. I expect him to be fine, but he did not look very good. It's tough against the Colts front group, but without Darius Leonard, still 18 for 54 yards. Cincinnati secondary looked bad against the Colts. Rivers went for 371 yards. Carlos Dunlop and Geno Atkins are not getting penetration. They're not doing anything. And if you watch them closely, you'll see them on the sidelines all the time in big plays. The one sack they got was credit to Xavier Williams. He was signed as a free agent last week. Auden Tate, Joe Mixon are questionable. Bebsy, take it away. Browns, Bengals.
Well, okay, so can we all agree that this line is this close because the Browns got absolutely shit-stomped last week, just like we said they would? The Browns against the Steelers for a long time has just been a punishing game. I just thought that was such an easy play. The recency bias had the Browns. Oh, we're gonna be in this game. Nope, not a chance. But look, the Browns got smoked week 1 against the Ravens. Then they started playing better. Then they started winning. They started playing well. They started winning bigger. And then everyone got excited about them beating the Steelers now, or at least keeping it close with the Steelers. Now, obviously, we didn't. I was heavily against that. That's what saved my weekend from being a total disaster. But I just feel like this is recency bias again. The Browns get worked, so now this stays close with the Bengals. Look, the Bengals are still not a good football team. They're still the football team that drafted first overall last year. They have so many missing pieces, and the Browns are kind of putting it together. Yeah, Mayfield played terrible. I don't know how much of it was the ribs and how much of it is just the Mayfield, but I really see a bounce-back week for the Browns here. I think this is a pretty easy play, taking the Browns in this spot. I also think, listen, we loved Joe Burrow at the gate. He's playing fast and loose, and he started taking a bunch of hits. And now he's being a little more conservative. He still played well last week, but look, he is aware that he is playing against men now, and there's going to be a lot of people coming at him this week. In particular, a guy you might have heard of named Myles Garrett, who's having a pretty solid season. So for this, I don't know. This is one of the first games that jumped out at me as a nice, easy play on the Browns this week.
Interesting. A nice, easy spot on the Browns. We got Damon Schritter joining us in the chat. Great to see you, Dame. Browns, Bengals, a nice, easy spot, says Bebsy. Bebsy, what do you think about this total? A lot of cappers are moving on the over. Opened up at 51.5 and is down to 50 at some books.
Well, given the fact that we don't know how well Mayfield's going to play this week because of his ribs, as somebody who's played football with bruised ribs before, you can't do that much. Breathing hurts, laughing hurts. So they probably shouldn't have played him last week at all, especially because I think that game was a lost cause before it started. And there's nothing you can do to heal them. It's not like you can rehab them. You just sit there and wait for them to be better. So that's the biggest concern. And look, Mayfield's not a spectacular quarterback to begin with when he's healthy. So given the fact that I think the Browns are going to come out hungry and they're going to attack Joe Burrow, I would lean under on this. But both of these teams have shown all year they can put up points. So for me, it's a no play on the points total. But I'm still on the Browns for this win. The point total just doesn't appeal to me.
The rib injury is serious. I mean, he didn't look like he could even throw the ball. But that does not concern you. Do you want me to line shop for you at this point, or do you still want time on this?
Well, I mean, if you can find a better line, I'll take it. But I don't know. Charlie Chip's saying respect to Bebs, but come on, man, Mayfield is injured. Yeah, I just don't think he's that spectacular a player. And if they're winning football games, it's because their run game is working. So this will be a hard lean on the run game. And I don't even think it matters if Baker Mayfield starts or not. If anything, I think he shouldn't start. Who's the backup there? Keenum, right?
Keenum.
Yeah, I think Case Keenum can win this game for them if he starts. I think they're better off starting him. Look, bruised ribs suck. You literally can't do anything. You can't breathe. So, yeah, he shouldn't have been in. I think that's a terrible choice by Stefanski.
Everything you're saying makes me question how you could be bullish on the Browns.
I'm bullish on the Browns because top to bottom, they're a much better team. And I don't think Baker Mayfield is a massively influential player on how they play. They didn't lose last week because Baker Mayfield was bad. They lost last week because the Steelers are considerably better than them and always bully them. Case Keenum and Baker Mayfield, they're not that much different. Baker Mayfield has more swag and more commercials, but he's not that much better of a quarterback. At least so far in his career, he hasn't shown that he is.
I can give you there's two of the licensed American books that are hanging threes. The rest are hanging 3.5s. BetMGM's hanging at 3 at -120. PointsBet's hanging at 3 at -115. That is the best line I can get you right now. Do you want it?
Yes, I do.
All right. Bebsy making a move on the Browns -3 at -115. That is at PointsBet. And back-to-back spots that Bebsy has jumped into. I moved on that Falcons earlier, and we are off and running. No play for me on Browns Bengals, and I'm uncomfortable with it.
I get why. I'm sure most of your apprehension comes with Baker Mayfield's injury.
Definitely. Correct.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I'm not going to try and change your mind like I did earlier with that Bills first half when I insisted that you were passing on free money. I don't think this is the same situation. I just believe that Case Keenum is more than capable of pumping the Bengals with this team. I really think he should start.
And Chubbs is not playing, Charlie. Chubbs is out for at least another 6 weeks. We expect at this point. Top Set says, why doesn't Bebsy like the under?
I just don't like the under because both these teams have put up points in most of their games this year. We've seen Joe Burrow with a lot of backdoor covers. It just doesn't excite me very much. I think if anything, I lean over. The more I talk about it, I'm leaning over. I think we've seen both of these teams put up a lot of points this year, so the under certainly doesn't excite me too much.
Alrighty. Bebsy is on the board. Let's see where the money has gone. Let me take a little peek and see where the money has gone here. At this point, we have we don't know. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah. They've not put it up yet. So we will have to wait and see where the money is. All right, there you go. That is the Battle of Ohio.